The NIKON NOCT f/0.95 is a rare lens, and there are not many retailers who have it in stock or will be able to sell it to you. There are some rental shops where you can rent it for testing it out for a few days, but it is also an expensive lens, so it's about $8,000 of price tag. And the most interesting fact, if you order it and you get it, it comes shipped in a very big box, like you see it here in the video. Opening the box, it becomes immediately apparent why it is such a big box. So let's get this done for a moment. Let's look into it, what's shipped here. So I was purchasing that lens only because it had a huge discount. So one of my retailers here in Switzerland was selling it for a significant discount. Otherwise, it's a very expensive lens, as I said. And I mainly shoot with Leica, with Phase 1, with Sony. But I also love shooting with my Nikon C7, so I thought maybe it's a good opportunity to take this to the next level and maybe shoot more frequently with the Nikon going forward, since that is a very special lens. And here you see me unboxing why the box it is shipped in is so big, because it comes in a Pelican hard case or suitcase, which is also necessary because the lens is very heavy with 2 kilograms, and you actually need something where you can safely store it when you're on travel. And that's why I ship it with that suitcase. So very nice, actually, nice build quality, pretty nice suitcase. And let's see how this is ordered inside the suitcase. So let's have a look inside. Again, the build quality of that Pelican case is very, very nice. And also inside, it's made with a lot of love to detail. So for instance, just in front, right-hand side to the Noct engraving, you see the optical structural diagram of the lens inside. And there are also certain spare outs, which I'm going to cover in a moment. So let's have a look at the lens. And let's put it back in the suitcase. Pretty nice, as I said, pretty heavy, 2 kilograms. And a lot of functionality built into the lens here. In line with the heavy weight, correlating with the heavy weight, is the build quality of the lens. Everything is very solid, metal construction, an OLED display, the Noct engraving, function buttons which you can program and customize in camera. In general, a very nice appearance of a very solid lens, 58mm, 0.95 widest open aperture. The suitcase, which was in that value package, also contains a lens hood. And let's get this open for a moment. Let's have a look at it. And again, it's a very solid, it's a metal construction, looks very, very nice. I like it a lot in terms of build quality. And it can be stored in the suitcase right next to the lens. And then looking at the suitcase, there are actually other compartments which you can use to store 2 more C-system lenses here. So if you go on travel with that suitcase, you can not only store in the suitcase the Nikon Noct, you can also get 2 more lenses stored there for safe travel and to protect the lens from any damage when you're on the move. Just a week ago, I posted a video on my channel where I compared the Nikon Noct 0.95 mounted on the Nikon C7 with the Leica Noctilux 0.95 mounted on the Leica SL2. And seeing them side by side, and I provided some data points in that video, it's just amazing in terms of physical dimension how much bigger the Nikon Noct is. And the Leica Noctilux has 700 gram, the Nikon Noct has 2 kilogram, so there's a multiplier of 3 between the weight of the 2 lenses. But both are excellent, as I pointed out in my video. And I provide the link to that video below in the info box, so you can watch that and get your own impressions. So my first shots with the Nikon Noct were quite a challenge. First of all, it's a heavy lens, so it adds to the weight of the camera body from the Nikon C7, which brings you up to roughly 2.5 kilogram. But more importantly, the focus ring is really equipped with a long travel in terms of rotation. So you can turn that focus ring forever, and I was demonstrating this in the video I mentioned before, where you find the link below in the info box, where I compared the Nikon Noct with the Leica Noctilux. And you have to get used to it, but once you're used to it, it's actually becoming a pleasure, because you can really fine adjust and fine tune with that long rotation travel the focus in the way you want to have it. And here's one of my first shots in the city, Zurich downtown. The lens is very sharp, colors are very accurate, and in general I think the optical qualities are without any doubt when it comes to the Nikon Noct. By the way, I should say the footage you see here has been taken before the coronavirus lockdown, And that's important to mention because in the last weeks I strictly stick to the rules, announced by the Swiss government. So working from home, staying at home, and there was only one exception, and I will post a few impressions later on my channel when I had to go to the office to pick up some stuff. But in general, I was staying at home and doing home office. So this footage is from the time before the coronavirus lockdown. Now, when I went to downtown at this particular day to test out the Nikon Noct, I was actually planning for a model and beauty shooting. But then I found myself in the middle of an activist protest march from feminist activists who were demonstrating for their rights. So that caught my attention, of course, and all of a sudden the situation turned into a street photography situation. So I want to show the footage, want to show how it was to actually do street photography with a 2-kilogram lens mounted on the Nikon C7, and how that long travel of the focus ring actually turned out to be not a problem at all when taking quick shots of what's going on in that protest march. Focusing the Nikon Noct is a completely manual procedure. You have focus peaking, represented here by the blue colors. Of course, you can choose different colors here and customize that to your liking. You also have magnification in the preview image, and I want to focus on that street sign here, which in German says Münsterbrücke, and then basically fine-tuning and adjusting the focus wheel, the focus ring, until I get the representation of these letters on the traffic sign or the street sign sharp and in focus. Also adjusting exposure here. And when I'm done with the magnification, I can actually go back and look at the large scene, and the focus peaking in the 3-dimensional view shows me what is in focus and what not, and I can again readjust my exposure to also get the mountains in the back in a nice dynamic range situation here, and then we have a good shot on our card. The final image then looks also quite impressive, and in particular if you zoom in, first of all, the resolution is great, contrast is great, coloring is great, dynamic range is great, and the mountains in the background are just beautiful the way they sit behind the city. Now let's look at the photos I took on that Saturday. It was planned as a model and beauty shooting, but then we gave up because of the noise in the city and the many people around, and it switched then very quickly to street photography, shooting that protest march from the feminist activists. Let's get started. So my conclusion is that the Nikon C7 with the Nikon Noct 0.95 is a fantastic combination. I do not regret a single moment that I purchased the lens, as I said before, for a huge discount, so Still expensive, but better than for the price it was advertised originally. You can use that combination for almost everything. You can use it for street photography and get some exercises for free because you're lifting up 2.5 kilogram. You can use it for landscape, for architecture, in the mountains, on stars. Actually, there's a video to come on that one, using the Noct at night. It's a very versatile lens. So if you like my video, please give me a thumbs up. If you like my channel, please subscribe. Thanks for watching. Stay healthy and safe. Protect yourself and the ones who belong to you, and peace out.